Some of the other things you mentioned was more in touch with what's best for you and what you're willing to do instead of saying yes to things and then regretting it.
Do you want me to embellish on that one?
If you want
Because I think this will set a lot of people free.
to. Okay.
My mom is 83, and I'm the middle child, and I know this is all on tape, but recently there was a conversation where she is seeing her own mortality and has had some health issues, and she wanted me to take care of my brother and sister when she's gone. That was pretty much the focus. And I said to her, no. I said, I've taken care of them, and I've taken care of you and my dad, who's now deceased, all these years. And I'm 55 years old. I don't know how much time I have left, but it's time that I devote to myself and my husband of 35 years. It's time for us to be kind of free, because these people are adults. And I've learned that in the past. 2 years ago, if she would have said that to me, I would have said yes, and boy, would I have been sorry, because that would have been like on the grave promise, you know, on deathbed promise. And so some of the things that we talked about in tapping, there was just an open door for me to talk about some things that happened in my past.
Right.
Some very hurtful things, some things that she was responsible for. And so I told her all about it.
Or at least part of.
A part of, right?
Yeah.
But she had not acknowledged.
Mhm.
And so the door was open, she sat there and she listened, and it wasn't ugly. It wasn't not ugly, but it was not a prepared conversation for me to say or her to hear. And at the end, she said, well, now I understand. And, for my part, I'm really sorry about that, and I can see now why blah, blah, blah. And so, better for me to say it while she's alive and to her face, and to let her know that she does have time left. If there's some work she has to do with my brother and sister, then that's up to her as a parent. It's not up to me to be their parent. That's not the plan.
And this is a really big deal for you.
It's a very big deal.
Because you took care of anything and everybody thinking you were supposed to.
Since I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
I took care of my mother and father and my sister and brother in ways that most people would never do. Because that was my role, to keep everybody happy and to make sure the family was somewhat functional. And it's been a long time. For
Somewhere
45
you got
years, that's a lot of
that
dedication.
message. Yeah,
and I think it's a done deal. And will I, be loving to my brother and sister? Yes, but that's a whole lot different than, the boundaries are different. I can't be their parent. I can't support
And now
them.
you're saying that's not okay anymore.
That's right.
It's not my job.
And so
That's a pretty big change for you.
And how much better that is to do it when my mother is still alive and lucid, than to hold all that up and when she dies have all the anger and resentment, because that's what it would have been, because that's what it was kind of doing. That's what it was doing, not kind of, it was. So for people who know that they need to do that, when your emotions are under check by tapping, when your emotions are checked and you're not going to reach out and,
Save the world.
well, not just that,
Anybody.
but just be angry. Just have that much anger. There was a lot of anger that I had, and that we saw on tape, that I really didn't acknowledge. I knew it was there, but I couldn't say that's what it was, but it was. So for me to have a conversation and not a argument, disagreement, in your face, nastiness, the conversation was not nasty. It was controlled, it was adult, it was meaningful. But it wasn't ugly. Now, if I had done that before tapping, maybe I would never even had the conversation. But I also know that the work was done to be able to have that conversation. And she didn't sit there and was a bundle of tears. She didn't cry. She wasn't upset. It was just a conversation like we're having. And it was okay. And I don't think too many people have those.
No, and not without the pent-up emotion underneath, because it's built on a foundation of this and this and this and this and this. So yeah.
I do know that when your emotions are intact, and I know that that's what tapping helps you with, that acknowledgement that, I may not be where I am, but I accept myself. I never could accept myself. Never. I wrestled with myself all the time, and that's part of the problem. But hearing myself say, I can accept that. That's where I am, and it's okay. Because I never felt that I was okay, not ever. Not
I
ever.
can't look at you because I'm gonna start crying.
So I think that's really powerful,
It is.
you know?
Okay, so let's move on to the next thing, because she's getting teary, I'm gonna get teary, we're gonna be a mess here.